Morning, mate. How you doing? I hope you got after it this morning. Hope yesterday started well for you. But do you know what? If it didn't, it don't matter. Now, I've had quite a lot of questions about the morning stuff, and quite a lot of people seem to resonate with the idea of stacking the wins. So I've had a couple of questions about those. I'll go into them. But what I'm going to talk about today as well, I'm going to talk about the 3.5 billion spent in the Premier League this window, United not getting a midfielder, and a little bit of a wrap up of the transfer window. And I'll do a little bit more of that with Ronnie later. About 4 o'clock, me and Ronnie are going to be doing that. 11 o'clock, I've got the first sort of right to reply video coming out. That was filmed in that yesterday. But let's talk about stacking the wins. So, momentum is important, right, in everything. But I think in terms of like getting your stuff together, and I spent a lot of time, long time, where I wasn't well. And I was dealing with depression, I was dealing with my hormones being all over the place, and I was dealing with, identity issues and all that sort of stuff. And I'm better. I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect in every aspect of my life. But I'm getting better. And I'm getting better because I do stuff like this. I'm a soldier, whether or not I'm still serving. I am a soldier, and I thrive in the outdoors, and it's me. This is me. You guys are seeing me doing this every day now because I decided to make content out here doing this. But I've been doing this for months and months and months, where it's been every day. This is why it's significantly helped me in shifting the weight loss, because this is a 10k that I'm doing today, same as a Saturday. And every day it's 2 miles at least. I could drive to the gym. It's a 5-minute drive, might be a 4-minute drive. But I walk to the gym. It takes me half an hour. Gets the steps in. I do it fasted. It helps. Now ultimately you can't just do it fasted, think it's going to lose a load of weight and have a pizza for breakfast, dinner and tea. Don't work like that. But it helps, just a little bit, that helps, right? It's another little win stacked. And on the stacking of the wins, you don't need to have a perfect day. And I was a victim of this, where if it didn't go right, what happens is you go, people, let's roll it back. People go, what was the catalyst for the weight loss? And because you guys see a handful of minutes of my day online, the impact of what happens in that few minutes per day, you lot extrapolate over, that's what my life must be. And that's fine, because that's the only information that you've got at hand. So the amount of people that presumed what Jose Mourinho said to me had an impact, because that's one of the few things that you've seen, and you can go, well, 1 + 1, surely that equaled 2. I've got a note on my phone. The note on my phone's from 2019, and it says, remember this feeling. And I was in an All Saints shop in a Trafford Centre, and I tried to try on a shirt. It was a gorgeous shirt, just a white sort of button-down collared shirt, really nice material. And the biggest size that they had didn't fit me. And I tried to get into like it might have been a 2XL, might have been a 3XL. I feel like it was 2XL. I don't think they went to 3XL. And I looked absolutely ridiculous in it. It looked like the Michelin Man. So I wrote a note on my phone, remember this. And that was a good couple of years before I managed to get my hormones levels sorted. And again, on the TRT front, I've only lost the weight because of the TRT. Okay, cool, but I've been on the TRT for 4 years. The weight only really came off in the last year. And that's what I mean about the stacking of the wins, is what I've been trying to do for years. These morning walks I've been doing for ages, you're only just seeing them. The weight loss journey was years before you started seeing it. If you go to the gym today, you might get a little bit of a pump and your arm might look a little bit bigger. Tomorrow it goes back to being how it looked yesterday. But if you do it every day, in 10, 12, 15 weeks, someone else will go, "Kid, you've been doing arms, size of them." It's weird because what you have to do is If you eat under your calorie maintenance today, you don't get abs. If you eat under your calorie maintenance tomorrow, you don't get abs. But if you stack it up for 3 months, you do. Well, depending where you start from, but do you know what I mean? Stacking of the wins is important. But what I used to struggle with was if it weren't perfect, what's the point? I didn't believe in the momentum and the consistency and the stacking of the wins on top of each other. I didn't believe in it. I needed more instant feedback. And you don't get that. You have to trust the process a little bit. And you have to have the faith that it's going to work. You have to have the faith that if you do the right thing, it's going to end up leading to the right thing. Like, you can't be in the middle of a mental breakdown and go, oh, Steve said go do a walk, it sorts your head out. And come back and be sound. It don't work like that. But if you consistently put yourself in nature, you consistently write down your goals, you consistently write down your to-do list, and you start checking that stuff off, it does have an impact. And it does lead to stuff. When I say stack the wins and it don't need to be perfect, that's what I mean. Try and do the right thing. Try and list out all of the things that would make it like a perfect day. I don't know if I ever have a perfect day, but I might be 85, 90, 95% of the way there most days. And I do that over a week and it moves the needle. And if I drop the ball, do you know what? I didn't have my meal prep today. I crumbled and went Nando's. Okay, cool. Well, let's not make it 2 bad decisions in a row. Let's make the next one the right thing to do. You know, if I crumbled and had Nando's, that doesn't mean, okay, now I'll go and have a pint, and now I'll stay out late, and now I'll skip the gym in the morning. 1 bad decision doesn't mean 7 bad decisions need to get made. So that's what I mean by stacking the wins. And you can start stacking the wins on a Tuesday lunchtime. You don't need to start first thing in the morning. I like to start first thing in the morning. I like to get those early wins. Start strong, let them know you're there, get an early goal, do you know what I mean? Football matches are easier if you score first. Football matches are easier if you keep a clean sheet. You go 1-0 down, you've got more work to do in the later stages of the game, haven't you? So that's what I see it as. Try and start off on a good foot. Don't make mistakes. Try and get a goal in early doors, or at least get a shot off. It makes the second half easier. So yeah, definitely not perfect. Just an imperfect fella trying to stack the wins, trying to put the work in. On myself, at work, on my footy team. But yeah, a lot of people have been commenting about the stacking the wins, saying it's been helpful. Fantastic. So, if it's helped you, I'm buzzing for you, mate. I really am. Because, I'll be honest with you, people I did not know, I do know now. People I did not know on the internet helped me. So if I can be someone you don't know on the internet that helps you, well, it'd be my honour. It really would. So, the news then. Transfer window shut last night. I thought it was meant to shut today, to be honest. I got my dates mixed up. But yeah, 7 o'clock last night, it's shut. And the Premier League, as a collective, spent £3.5 billion, which is the most that's ever been spent. Last thing, Mark Gay didn't manage to go to Liverpool, which I'm pretty glad at, to be honest, because what a window they would have had, man. They'd have taken their spending right over 400 and something million and signed a really good player to boot. Chelsea have signed everyone that moved. I saw something that they got 70 million for Nicholas Jackson. I don't know if that's correct. United did some decent business. I've seen the usual Shelbyville suspects crying about United not managing to get a midfielder. I think a midfielder became a priority once you fixed the attack. But the attack only got fixed like 2 weeks ago. And clearly goalkeeper was an issue that they were trying to sort. I think they went for a midfielder. I think the perfect midfielder, the one that they wanted, wasn't available. So rather than do what we've always done and settle, we didn't do that. And I think we're going to go back in next year for our number one target, which I think is a positive. The goalkeeper's clearly someone that we've been tracking for at least 6 months, because I did find a report when we were first linked to him at the start of the summer. I did go and find a report that had said we'd been scouting him all the way back in December. And then he was asked about a potential move to United back in February. So what I would have to say is, even though I don't think Senne Lammens is Van der Sar Schmeichel 2.0, going into it very open-minded about what he'll be like as United's first choice goalkeeper, he is clearly someone that we've had our eye on for a significant amount of time. Certainly not a panic buy. So I think there's positives in that. Maybe he was the one that we wanted all along, and maybe we got the one that we wanted all along. And I reckon there's positives in that. Jadon Sancho's managed to get flirted. That's a massive positive. Basically everyone bar Malacia, there are still a couple of windows that are open. I feel like Turkey, I want to say Turkey's open. Obviously you've got Saudi is still an option. MLS is still an option. There are places that you can go even though the window is closed. So, mad interesting window. Mark Gay news on the last day. Found that really interesting. That would have been a problem, I think, for everybody if Mark Gay had gone to Liverpool. I think he's a really good centre half. Liked him for a while. And I also I think there's a few people that have acted quite well in this. Glasner threatening to quit if he lost Mark Gay and didn't get a replacement. I like that. I also like the fact that Palace took him at his word and said, all right, cool, Mark Gay's not going then. Knowing that they've got a decent gaffer there. And we will do the comparisons of his system and why his works and maybe Amorim's has looked a little bit more clunky. I'll do that this week. But I like that. I like the fact that he's like, listen, I've lost Eze, I've lost Mark Gay, there was talk of him losing Wharton. You take those 3 players out of that team, they're 3 impactful players, mate. They are 3 really, really strong Premier League footballers. When you take them out of anybody's team, you've basically just consigned them to, if not definitely relegated in a one-er, you've absolutely put them in contention for it, for sure. Right, I've got a few questions. So if you guys want to put any questions in for tomorrow's video, in fact all this week's probably going to be a lot of questions because I think the news is going to dry up now. International break is upon us and the transfer window is over. So unless someone does something mental, there'll be a lot of questions on these walks in the morning. Isaac says, watched Paddock on my laptop via Twitch from Johannesburg for the first time yesterday, while simultaneously watching United on the telly. Now, for those who don't know, we Twitch stream all of our games, totally free, whether you're a member or not. Most of our games are 3 o'clock kickoff, and you can tune in. If you follow me or the club on socials, you'll get the link before the game. It's the same link. Honestly, you can just search for Paddock FC and find it on Twitch. We have a commentator called Liam. We have pretty decent graphics considering, everything's volunteer led and Liam does it voluntary. And I think he does a really good job. He's entertaining. He's certainly not what you'd call match of the day. He's biased. But also, he's real with it. He ain't PG. And he celebrates properly when we score. So if you want to check it out, come and check it out. At the weekend we went 6-0.
played the other team with a perfect record. We've got a team that battered us in pre-season a couple of years ago. This Saturday, 3 o'clock, while it's international break. Where if you're in the Manchester area or close by, 3 o'clock kickoff, free entry at Hyde United. Come and get down and come and speak to me, because we're all real. There's no segregation like there is at United. Come and have a chat. I want to get people in that ground. We play good football. I know I'm biased, but we do. And if you don't believe me, go watch us on Twitch and make your own mind up. This week we didn't have as much. 62% possession was what we had. Brought a little bit of control to that chaos of that game. Won 1-0 away against the other team with a perfect record. Big win, that. But the 3 games prior to that, we had 68, 70 and 75% possession. We hold the ball. We play nice with it. And I've got 16-year-olds in my first team. We're doing all right. The second part of his question. Pretty wild to be invested in a team I know little about. I guess I'm more invested in the community you're building, because it's much larger than a football team now. Was the intention always to build a worldwide community? It's cool to see. Now I'll answer that in 2 ways. One, get asked quite a lot about, are the shirts available for worldwide shipping? And yes, they are. And one of the coolest things about going on pre-season to America, or even when I was in Qatar at the World Cup, is seeing Stretford Paddock shirts. There hasn't been a trip I've been on where I've not seen one. And that's phenomenal. Absolutely adore that. Because that shows that we're hitting what we want to do on a global scale. Was the intention ever to build a community like that? Honestly, probably not. I don't know if I ever thought about it on that deep of a level. But right now, yes. At the moment that we're in right now, yes. I listen to we have a fans podcast. It's entirely run by the fans. It's nothing to do with me or anyone that works for the club. And the fans put out a podcast every single week. And this week on the podcast, they had a husband and wife from Canada that watch all the games together. You can't tell me that's not beautiful. We've had people travel over from all over the world. We had a guy from Liechtenstein come to a game last season. I don't even know where Liechtenstein is. Like, we have an Irish supporters club. They travel over 2 or 3 times a year en masse. Last year the Irish supporters club came over, or last season, I guess it was still this year, it was a few months ago, back in the last season, the last home game of the season actually. The Irish supporters club travelled over, and our first Irish player scored his first goal for us. Free kick. I love that in football. What we're doing is mega, and I'm proud of what we've achieved. But we're at level 1 of where I want us to be and what I want us to achieve. So that's why I keep saying to you guys, come and get involved. Like Isaac just said, the community is cool. We have a Telegram group and it's active. And it's people putting results in around the league, giving their opinion about the players. And imagine this, imagine there was a Telegram group of United fans. And maybe it's something we can even build around this channel. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. Because I have a pro Telegram account. I can create groups that have, I think, unlimited number of people. I think it's unlimited anyway. I know WhatsApp's capped out, I think it's 256. I feel like Telegram might be unlimited. But I have a pro Telegram account, so I can create groups. I could create a group for this channel. And everyone can communicate, debate, do whatever. But imagine there was a Telegram group of United fans worldwide, and the United players popped in it to ask you how you thought the game went afterwards, and talk to you about how they played and how their teammates played. That's what happens with the Stretford Paddock members group. So we're fan owned, which means that any major decision that the club has, we put it to a vote. And we voted on all sorts, from sponsorship ethics to whether or not we should have a women's team. By the way, our women's team have got their first match this week. I took training for them on Thursday last week because the women's first team coach is ill. And I think if we can sort someone to watch Blake, I'll be taking training from him again this week because she's still not right. And I was really impressed. And they've got their first game this week. Hopefully the boys go and do the business on Saturday. I'm going to see if as many as possible can go and watch the girls on a Sunday, because it's a big moment, I think, in the history of the club. Our first competitive women's football match. I think that's fantastic. Like I said, I'm at level 1 of what I'm trying to achieve with this football club. And my ambitions are lofty. And it'll never replace United. It's not intended to do that. But it's intended to be a place that you can come and play football to a high level, but there's also a community. I'm mad inspired by some of the school spirit I see around high school and college sports in the States, and the professionalism around the facilities. And I want to bring a little bit of that to the rough and ready of the grassroots in England. Because I think it's an absolute joke that our national game is left in the hands of volunteers and dads. Considering the money at the top end of the Premier League, considering the money that the FA generates, even on the amount of yellow cards that I generate every single week, £12, bosh. That game is not being filtered in to forcing people through courses, to subsidising courses, or creating facilities to enable the next generation of the game to play. Everywhere you look, it is so expensive to hire training pitches. It's so expensive for people to get on courses, and nobody is incentivised to become a grassroots coach. But let me tell you this, there are no new superstars coming through. Max Dowman, 15 years of age, playing in Arsenal's first team. He didn't just get born and taken to, is it Ashburton Grove, the training ground of Arsenal? He had to go and play grassroots football somewhere. Now, he might have got lucky. He might have found a coach that believed in him, that was able to instill in him some fundamentals, and then he got taken to Arsenal's academy. I'm assuming that's his route. I actually don't know too much about his route. But that's how it works. You have to go through a grassroots club, some Sunday league team where you play with all your mates at school. Now, whether that can be like Stretford Paddock under 8s, Medlock Rangers under 8s, Droylsden under 8s, whatever it is, kids will typically spend 2, 3, 4 years there. By the time they're about 12, they start getting gripped by academies. But they have to start there. Now, if the national game is built on someone's dad taking over a team to stop it going under, why are we leaving such an important part of our national identity to chance in the way that we are? Do you not find that abhorrent? Because I do. How are we not secure in the future? How can we look at it? How can the likes of even United and City not getting involved? How can we say, we'll just leave it to the chance that the next Marcus Rashford, the next Kobbie Mainoo, the next David Beckham, the next Paul Scholes just arrive at Carrington with the fundamentals drilled into them? How are we not looking at that disconnect from when a kid has his first point of contact with the sport, that we don't have better coaches in place to teach them better fundamentals? If you got Timmy's fucking dad just telling him to smash it anytime it comes near him, rather than take control of the ball, get your head up and select the good options, you're going to end up with players that don't know how to play out. If you discourage young players from dribbling, you're going to lose the flair in the game. If you don't have people who know how to teach you how to shoot, you're going to have players that can't score. And at the top end of the game, it will suffer. Because you can only work with the raw materials that come through. If the raw materials that are coming through are not as good, the products at the top end is not as good. I find it ridiculous that the FA do not put more emphasis on more coaches. Considering the money awash in the Premier League, it's embarrassing that we have a third as many coaches as Germany and Spain. There's no reason for it except greed. So I see Stretford Paddock existing as being that place where I will work my fucking knob off. Will it to be to selfishly make sure that Manchester United get the first pick of the best talent in Manchester City? You're fucking right, it will, yeah. No City and Scousers will be allowed in my building. And I will have a direct hotline to the scouts at Manchester United and go, got another one for you, come get him. I'm never going to work for Manchester United. They won't have me because I'm too much of a gobshite, But also, I see my purpose in life is to deliver what I want to do here with Paddock. I'm the first team manager at the moment. I need to get us into the FA Cup. Once we're in the FA Cup, I'm gone from the first team. And I'm going to go start working at the very bottom. And I'm going to bring through those kids. That's what I'm going to do. I'll never work for Manchester United. I will never coach Manchester United, and I don't want to. But I will have players that play for Manchester United, and I'll have players that play for England because they'll come through my club. And I fucking promise you that. That is my purpose. That is my goal. That is where I'm taking this. And like I said the other week, you want to get in touch, you want to get involved, drop me a message, man. Drop me a message. We can't do it on our own. But what we are doing, like Isaac said, is we've built a community, and a community is cool. Become an owner. Help spread the word. Buy a shirt. Have someone stop you in Tesco's and go, who's that team? That matters. And then once you're part of the family, you can help us find sponsors. You can help us find coaches. You can help us find facilities. I'll tell you this right now. You're this deep in the video, you deserve to get a little bit of a treat for it. We've got people that will build us a stadium. We've got people that will become our landlords. They can't invest in the club because it's fan owned. But what they can do is become our landlord. Help build us a facility. And they can get paid by being our landlord. We've got people who will build us that. We can't find the land. Come and help us find the land. Come and help us build this stadium. Come and help us achieve the goal of being the best grassroots club in the world. Because I tell you what, you get us that facility, I couldn't fuck it up from there. It'll happen. I could have 50 teams at the click of my fingers this afternoon. I've got nowhere to put them. And we can't be a club until we're all at the same place. Until I can get to the ground early on a Saturday and I can watch my reserves kicking off at 12:30 before the first team kick off at 3. But I can get there at 11 and watch the soccer school. That's what I want. I want a clubhouse with all of our old shirts in there. I want our first team players that passed on and went and played for United to come back because it's international break and they're injured. And they come and watch a game with us. That's a club. That's a community. And yes, that's the literal building. Ideally in South Manchester, ideally in Trafford. But we've got that community online that's buzzing about it every single day. That's chatting to each other every single day. It's fucking mint. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. But it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done as well. Anyway, this is going to be a pain in the arse to upload now. Nearly half an hour long. Hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of football talk and a lot about other wibble. Me and Ronnie are back at 4. Right to reply out at 11. I have no idea what's coming tomorrow. We'll record that when I get in. Take it easy, everyone. Stack the wins. See you tomorrow.